Hey guys, what's going on? This is episode 181 of Shackled City. Man, we're slowly inching our way to 200. That's scary territory. Very, very rarely do you ever hear about games ever going on that long. Maybe groups that have been meeting for years, but never a single game. But it's been a wild week. I hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everybody's healthy, functional. Y'all at least look alive. Sniper looks vastly younger, which is good to see. It's good to see a little youth. I'll just end it there. Just
He's reaching out to his target audience.
Yeah, is that so? Is that okay? All right. What inspired this? I'm curious. Like, what are you wearing?
A sweater?
A sweater? Okay, just a sweater. And what? How about the background? Are you a teacher now? You know what? Don't answer that. I'd rather not know.
I want to know about the Marty McFly hair, personally.
There's a lot of feathering right there for certain. Yeah.
Yeah, I went ahead and took a shower a little while ago, and yeah.
Is that not something you usually do?
I took a shower basically right before the stream. And my tresemme apparently was super effective today because...
Ooh la la. Yeah. Very good. Well, I'm proud, I guess.
This stream sponsored by Tresemme shampoo and conditioner.
Man, I wish.
Yeah, it'd be kind of wild.
No, guys, say what you want. I've got gorgeous hair.
Okay, all right.
It wouldn't have been that.
I mean, I wasn't going to make fun of your
not
hair.
on my list.
That's not where I was going to go with it.
A little feathery is all. There's a little more pep in it than normal, I think. I think most people are fairly enamored with your mustache, though. They wouldn't be like, damn, you know what? Sniper's got he's got a fine head of hair. That's not what they say. It's like, he's got an impressive van and that mustache to go with it.
That's a fine lip of hair.
Look at that window tint on that van. Can't see a thing.
You assume he has windows.
Oh, man.
He doesn't even have a front window.
True. But you know what we do have? We have tonight's recap going on.
I swear to God.
Powered by Corsair Gaming. It's not true. Not true.
I mean, it is partially true.
But if that's the case, everybody do me a favor and get your chains, get your locks for tonight's Shackled recap.
I don't even know what the point is. Wow, he was still okay. I thought he was done.
Damn you.
Yeah, that just happened.
Well, thank you for bringing the energy, sir. I'm stoked for tonight. Let's talk about what happened last time on episode 180.
Yes. So, last week. Yes. Last week, quite a bit happened. Ended up getting back to meeting up with Jenya after realizing that Cort was falling to pieces. Literally falling to pieces. He was struck with Alicast, the reformed Alicast. Well, I guess re-augmented for Jakob. And with a little binding spell on it, it decided to unbind him. Because he, in fact, was a neutral power.
Okay.
For those of you guys that weren't there last session, the scythe itself has a enchant on it, or a incantation that reads, when duality is discovered, neutrality unbinds. Still very open to interpretation overall, but we more or less found out that any neutral entity that's struck with the blade, that we're assuming that's not infernal or celestial, begins to slowly break apart when it's struck with the blade. Jakob, communing with Alicast, ended up finding out that this was a desire that, whether he knowingly or unknowingly had, caused Cort to begin unraveling, falling apart piece by piece. We believe this happened when he was struck with the blade inside the Temple of Weejoss, and he wanted to defeat the Wraith that was on Cort at the time, but that wasn't really put into direct translation, and it struck Cort. In the middle of this, there was some unrest going on at the the Wee Apothecary, where we had more people coming in, hearing about the Heroes Feast and Cure Disease that we were providing. We had more people coming in and wanting to get treated and have food. There was a bit of uneasiness when one of the women decided to give her food to her husband, and one of the other townspeople decided to step in and say, well, if she can do that, how come the men can't eat first when there was an established rule? Young children and women would eat before the men. Ulhime pretty much had to give them a firm but understanding rule set of saying, this is essentially what I said in line for you guys. If you want to hand your food off to someone else, you're more than welcome to, but you're by no means allowed to overtake for yourself or put yourself before another. In that confrontation, Cort also had an experience, a very unusual out-of-body experience.
Let's pass it to him. Let's give him a chance here, since there was a fair amount of focus, particularly for Red last session. Let's see what he can actually recall.
Yeah, so I got to talk with Helm. He was pretty cool. He showed me Ronald. We talked about Ronald for a bit. He was like, do you think Ulhime's a pretty cool guy? And I was like, I think he's a pretty cool guy. And then he essentially went down and showed me Pharasma's boneyard and said, hey, when people die, this is where they go. They get judged, and either they get through the boneyard or they don't.
Right.
And then mentioned that Ronald had been there a few times. Or in this, Ulhime.
Okay.
He then proceeded to bring me to the dark space, where Jimothy has been sitting there fighting things off to protect Helm's sanctuary, essentially. And he was like, hey, dude, this is Jimothy. He's pretty fucked up. Humans aren't supposed to be here. He's turned into a fucking monster, and Ronald isn't doing shit about it. Fucking tell him to do something about this, because this is going to be an issue. And I was like, well, fuck, dog. If I die, how about I do it? And he was like, that sounds chill, but you're not dying right now. And I was like, fuck, right. And so we left, and now I have to communicate to Ronald, fucking make up your mind. And if he doesn't, then Helm might come back.
Company gets liquidated. Stocks get all distributed.
And if I die, I die. Yeah, my internal stocks will be distributed amongst the group.
Did he say there's a couple of questions there that I feel like I want to lean into? You said that he told you Ulhime had been there a few times.
Yeah.
What is the opinion of Ulhime through Pharasma? What is Pharasma's thoughts?
She's not a fan.
No.
She's kind of annoyed. It's kind of like the fly who keeps coming into your house and you think he fucking leaves, but then he somehow comes back in through another door. And that's essentially what Ronald keeps doing.
Sort of, yeah. That's a good analogy. I like that. Why hasn't he been dealt with?
I think she doesn't care about him. Or well, not enough to do anything about it.
Okay. Does anybody have any ideas? I'm open to speculation from anyone at this point. Why hasn't Pharasma dealt with Ulhime?
Because Ulhime's soul is caged. She can't get in touch with it.
Okay. What is giving him the ability to freely move from plane to plane, particularly this locked and hidden plane?
I'd say the lichdom, isn't it?
It's not necessarily the lichdom, no.
The fact that he has the powers of Helm, so not only is he a lich, ergo his soul is out of Pharasma's reach.
Correct.
But he's also got all the powers and protections of being a god.
True, but what gave him those powers? This is a. I know that
faith of
Ronald knows
Jimothy.
it. It's well, yes and no. That's only partial. That's a small amount. That's actually what's keeping you alive. But there's something else.
Was it the blood transfusion from Jakob starting the Dawn Cataclysm?
No. This is a figure that you guys had actually met several times.
Oh, Navigator.
No, close. Starts with an N. Starts with an N.
That'd be the biggest fucking
The drama.
It's a drama.
It's Nadrama. Yeah, Nadrama.
She
was
don't
the
want no
angel.
drama with Pharasma.
She basically gave her life. She was the last standing praetor and protector of Helm and Helm's entirety in realm and memory. Short of, well, Ulhime. Ulhime was one of the few that actually still believed. He even embellished a gauntlet that happened to have the same emblem. You split that. You passed gauntlets back and forth with him before inevitably you found yourself assuming his role, courtesy of the Dawn Cataclysm. He was forgotten. Now, just a callback here. Anybody can shout this out. How did he get freed? What caused him to get freed?
What caused Helm to get freed?
Yeah.
It was the weird symbol thing we found inside of Orcus that when it was hatched open by Sasha, it freed him into Charlie Miles.
Correct. Why is he in Charlie?
That's beyond me. I think it was just the next closest viable candidate.
He did say he said something. Something like that. You could probably venture a guess, but Ronald, can you recall what he said specifically?
That he was a vessel, essentially a vessel strong enough to contain the power that Helm had.
Right. He did say that he was a vessel that was seemingly strong enough, but that it could not contain him for long.
Correct.
What do you think a power like that does to a human body?
Deteriorates it over time, very similar to what's happening to Cort, but this is probably at a slower rate because he's trying to hold back all the power from shooting out of him.
Yeah, basically, there is whenever you see a god in form on your realm, it's typically a projection of their power. Typically, it's a projection, largely because, well, they've reached deityhood for a reason. Their mere presence is enough to radiate power to blind you. Right? Only a handful know how to contain their energy, but you never really know what it takes to ascend to that level. That's the scary thing about being a deity is you just start being one day, and seemingly some of them are just born overnight. A few of you
So there's
actually,
still hope for us.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Some of you have even been recently born and may be either a vessel. That's an idea that hasn't been really mulled around or kicked about at all. But someone said they want to see you live up to your potential. I'm just gonna plant some seeds there, see where you guys take that.
I am a god.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Matthew literally told me those words, and that's why I'm a little bothered by what you just said.
No, you're closer to a tennis shoe.
Thanks God. Thank God. I want to be stepped on every day rather than turn into a god. All right?
Oh, fuck. That's good. I mean, you'd be an interesting pair of shoes, to say the least, but yeah. Okay.
And
Your camera kind of disappeared.
Yeah, we lost Jenny.
I'm still here. Don't worry.
It's okay. I figured you were. So, theories moving forward. He did say that the boy is not going to last. That Jimothy is just not going to do well. In fact, the earliest signs that Jimothy is not doing well is visible in his voice.
Yeah, he's already starting to sound like fucking gremlin.
Yeah, he's changing. His body is changing. His fingers have elongated and they've been stripped from their fingertips down to the bone. He's holding what seemingly feels and looks like a shard of obsidian that is just riddled with plasmic goop and blood. That he just keeps defending a blank and nameless throne. So, yeah, you're right. You've got to make some decisions. You've got to let Ulhime know. But Ulhime now has newfound problems. Sniper, why don't you take it away? What happened next?
well, what happened was
See what happened?
What happened? What? In our flurry to try and find out just what necessarily was going on with Cort, we all basically came to the same conclusion that it had to do with this, the staff turned scythe. And in a moment of just panic, Jakob attempted to commune with it. He attempted pumping power into it and speaking to it directly to inquire just what was going on, because he knew Alakas could communicate.
Mm-hmm.
It was a sentient weapon. It had communicated with Klaus before, and it told Jakob that was your wish. That was what you had wished me to do. And of course he inquired, how can I stop this? And not Alakast said, you must wound another. At which point he turned to Ulhime and just simply asked, do you trust me? And Ulhime's of course, Ulhime's like, hell yeah, dog, you my bro. We tight. At which point he just set the scythe on Ulhime's shoulder and gave it a quick...
And basically damn him to eternal...
gave him a quick cut. At which point he, kind of sat there like, oh dear God, what have I done? So
sort of, yeah. We briefly spoke about what could happen. Inevitably, I think everybody came to the conclusion that Ulhime will probably just die. But what does that really mean for Ulhime? At this rate, he can just come back repetitiously.
Yeah, which is kind of where Jakob was thinking things would go. He was hoping that, okay, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and destroy your body. You'll come back. You'll be fine. You'll get better.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, then, I think this is where we initiate explosion dodging, and we go right into today's story. The scene is set and stations us directly inside of the wee apothecary, and we find ourselves peering at each other. Ulhime stares over to Jakob. As you see Cort now functionally trying to sit up. Additionally, you would see that Rahk is still just kind of there. He's idling by, but he's watching things pan out. Thelsa, you were there too, but I think you were more along the lines of trying to handle things magically. You weren't.
Yes.
You weren't trying to interject additionally, but you were trying to hold some magical aspect to it.
Yep.
So this is where it opens up. You see Cort lying on the bed. He's come to, but he's closed his eyes. He's kind of wincing in pain, but he's no longer screaming. And this is when you see the quote-unquote brothers, if you will, they turn to face each other. Now Jakob and Ulhime are staring.
Thelsa would just keep looking over his body to see if there was traces of whatever magical curse this was. And she'd be more focused on that and trying to distinguish what it was than what had just happened behind her.
Certainly. So where it looks like you still remember, this is like in time. So you have your detect magic on. You have been trying to focus and maintain. You were slowly trying to skew the magic away with some of your own latent abilities. And it was working, but they seemed, where they were parting ways, they seemed to be growing in enormity and pace. But something has happened. When you peer inside, or at least before he actually finally releases himself, there is no more magic internally. It's gone.
I'm just going to watch for a few seconds and then just kind of turn around because Thelsa didn't grasp what was happening at the time.
The body itself continues to function as normal, and then you notice that even though he's out of pain, this is when you can hear the body returning to normal function, or at least as normal as it can be. His lungs are perforated in several spots. He's missing, I would say, 98% of his stomach. There is just a small visceral line that tapers from the esophagus to the intestine, where it looked like the inner bean of the bean-shaped pouch of the stomach was remaining. That's about that. Some various other parts are perforated as well. It's pretty disgusting.
Yep.
Question.
I was going to ask if he was okay now, like if this isn't happening, like where I see, I guess, him writhing in pain as much. Can I try once more to transfer life force into him to see if that'll provide some form of physical restoration to his body? Essentially, like giving up parts of myself to try to heal him.
You've never seen this function like this before. You're not sure it would work now, but it's a guess. You could try. Remember, he's not like, honestly, the rest of you at all. Most of you have been either demon-touched, or you are part demon, or you have a god, like, partially nesting in your body, or you're a half-orc poet from a...
Thank you for the inclusion.
From a bizarre area that yes, he's kind of a jack of all trades. Master of few, actually, even though he's a jack of all trades. But Cort is he's just a boy. He's like 19 years old. Human.
True.
That.
But I mean, even before, like when I've healed, I've noticed that parts of me would break off.
Mm-hmm.
So if possible, I at least want to try to see if I can focus on an exchange of parts of myself to transfer to him, if that's even possible. I don't know if it's going to work, but I mean,
okay, so,
not doing anything would,
Give me, let's see here. What would best work? Give me just a flat intelligence check. Your best guess is that you're going to move some of your force to him, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be regrowing body parts. While you lose parts, it's because you decay. You naturally decay, and then you were born again from the shield, from your metal. In this case, again, as a normal human, he's just going to have to grow those parts back. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you've got the capability to make that happen. You're going to need someone that has that level of ability or power, something to that effect.
What are the odds I can use Make Whole to just fix him?
Well, last I checked, Make Whole functions for inanimate structures.
So if he's dead, it would work, is what you're saying.
Sure. Let's see how this plays out.
Hey, I can fix him, but we got to kill him first.
Kill him and bring him back. How's that sound?
Pretty him up for the funeral.
That is the most Jakob plan I have ever heard.
The only other thing I have is disintegrate, and I don't think that's going to help here.
I just want you to know that if I come back and you do some zombie bullshit to me, I want to be treated like what's his name from the Simon Pegg zombie movie, where he just has him chained up in the backyard. From
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah,
Nick Frost and Shaun of the Dead.
Nick.
Yeah.
Like how he's just in the backyard. I want that to happen. If you're gonna bring me back, at least give me my own little shed.
You can go rebuild Duke of
Guys,
Blast.
it's okay. I know how to reincarnate.
The last character that was involved in the game that had a little shed out back got crushed by a gigantic lightning wolf.
And I do not love you.
Oh no. I don't need that fanfic to come out. Get it away.
I love Durobras. I do not love you.
That would have been an interesting series of events.
I'll bring him back one day. Don't worry.
Oh my god.
You sure you're not a necromancer?
Not yet. I'm going to figure out, once I get to level 20, how I can completely transfer my class to something entirely
you're just
different.
Gonna reclass.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no rules that state that you can't be more than level 20. It's just that's where the level caps
that's
for
where
that
level
class.
stops at sorcerer.
So I
just go
could be
into
a
epic
level
classes.
20. Yeah, perfect. I'll just master all of the schools of magic.
I'm not even sure if they make the book for that, but I know that they did in 3.5. It probably wouldn't be that hard to class it over for epic classes. which you would have access to absolutely nutty level spells. Yeah.
You get like 6 level 20 or 6 level 9 spells a day.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
And there's like, once you get so strong, you start having the capability of making your own spells and their
Yep.
capacity. And like
Yep.
the supposed 10th level of spells, which is like, yeah, you just snap your
So-
fingers and a town
like-
disappears.
Like the rain of colorless fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just intense.
The heroes come to fight you. You just say,
Not today.
Pass.
You
I can
literally
already do that
you
though.
gain Thanos
Alright, be
snap,
back.
man. You just
The,
gained Thanos
the
snap.
scaling on
Yeah, but
10th,
you have to-
11th,
you
and
have to
12th level
insert
spells
that.
is stupid. Like literally, it's 10th level. You can obliterate an entire state.
oh my god.
11th level is an entire continent. 12th level is an entire world.
I
Yeah,
thought
but
you
That's
meant an
literally the
entire
scale.
plane.
That's literally no. It's an entire like you can like blow up the earth on the 12th level.
You're also talking about like almost like at deity or beyond deity level. If you have 12th level
Yeah.
magic, you are, for all
That
intents
is-
and purposes, a deity.
You're literally tethered to the weave of magic.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Um,
fucking Galactus. That's what
Well,
you
I
are.
found
You're
my next
Galactus.
character.
Is there any intelligence
Oh,
checks I can do to
gross.
figure out other than Nab the Tauren? If there's anyone else in town that I could possibly take this guy to?
I think you guys all have come to the realization that you cannot go to the tome.
Yeah. I don't have anything to barter with other than gold, and if they have like a scroll of regenerate, that's great. If not, I mean, I still wouldn't be able to use I know
Actually, I do know of one person in the group that at least is aware of a tinkerer in town. That he has been informed multiple times, or at least twice, by Kiana, that there is a tinkerer in town, and
Oh,
he's an
Thelsa
oddity.
and Cort went to go see Keegan Gels.
Okay,
But
also
Thelsa doesn't know anything about him. Just
Jacob is also aware that there is a tinkerer in town.
I've
that
also
I
met
don't even
Keaton
remember
Gale.
what we
Oh,
went
have
for.
you?
Rahk.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Do you not remember Starbell biting the shit out of me?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For like, I crit was like 4 points of damage. That would
Yeah.
have killed a normal person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking just took the
Starbell
tip of
bites
your
the
finger right
jugular.
off. I'm playing it all back now, man. You know what?
yeah.
4 points of fucking lethal damage from a single rat bite? That would be like, the fucking finger would be gone, man. That's nuts.
He's the Rat King.
Yeah.
We'll accept no other answer.
Oh, man.
Literally die of shock.
Yeah. I didn't think he had it in him.
But yeah, I mean, if
Now
anyone
he's
wants to
got
bring
one
that up,
finger in him.
that's awesome. If not, then
I mean, I
Go
think
to the tome.
what it boils down to is you guys need to talk. You gotta
Yeah.
have some conversation here.
I'll throw it. I'll start it. Looking to Thelsa and looking at the group. But after Thelsa turns around, is the curse gone from him? Is he okay?
When I look over at Xander with the
Detect magic.
detect magic, I want to say read magic, and I couldn't think of the word detect. Does he have said curse eating at his body?
I need you to make a fortitude save.
Oh, okay. I didn't turn it off, so
No. You were focusing at some very small points. We're talking like winced, squinted eyes, and then you glance up at the beacon that is Ulhime, and it hurts. There is an immediate burning sensation in your eyes. You do not get to glance long enough to even determine if the curse is upon him. The level of magic that seems to weave around him is foreign. It's almost alien. They don't communicate together well, but somehow he functions.
It's
Yeah,
dummy stick
so,
magic is what it is.
I'll be looking into Court, and then as soon as they turn around and you start talking, I'm just gonna immediately shield my eyes and stumble back.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fish Food, for giving five subs. My brain quit there. I almost did luck rerolls, but that puts our first luck reroll on the board. I appreciate you.
I mean, if you want to give us 5 luck rerolls,
Yeah,
I'm not
we'll
going to say
take it.
no.
You guys are gonna fucking need them.
I'm gonna reroll that fortitude to see if I'm blinded.
Oh, I mean, you're good. You're good. You're not. It just burns. It's not blinded. If
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
I
would,
figured.
if you'd rolled like a 4, then yeah, I would be like, okay, well, you can't use your eyes most of the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Seeing her wince back, I would kind of be a little alarmed. Is everything okay? What happened?
I didn't turn my detect magic off. She's gonna chuckle slightly as she says so. Yes, he's fine, but my eyes hurt.
Okay, well, I mean, he's far from okay. He's still in pieces.
The
We need to
curse,
find a way to.
or whatever this is no longer eating at his organs. His organs are no longer degrading, but they're in refuse.
Jakob, Thelsa, do any of you have any magic that can restore him?
The opposite.
Restore? No. The only thing I know of is something for very, very minor recovery, but nothing on this scale.
He looks over to Rahk. Do you have any networking done with the mayor? Possibly someone you might have been in contact with?
I mean, I have some connections in the city, but I'm still new here, and frankly, things have been worse ever since I showed up, so there are a select few that I would trust.
Well, if we can get him to him, then we should probably make our way to them. We can't leave him like this. I don't even know if he'll last the night.
You're right.
Well, when it comes down to it, this is the best place for him to be. There's no better healer in the city than Jenya. That said, we simply need to go ahead and find somebody with the resources to do some kind of mending or restoration. In the meantime, we can certainly do something to give him some comfort, but that's pretty much it. Does anyone have an idea as to who we could speak to? Because normally in these kinds of situations, I would speak to Jenya or Sasha, and I have a feeling that we can all agree Sasha is extremely tired of our shit.
There is one. He appears to be extremely magical. I don't know all that much about him truly, but I know that his familiar has a bite that smarts quite a bit.
The locksmith, right?
Yes. Keegan, I believe.
Yes.
Keegan Gelv. He's a tinkerer.
Yeah, very powerful tinkerer.
He makes locks for a living.
I mean, certainly we might be able to speak with him about Ulhime's arm or something along those lines, but it is something. In the meantime, though, and let's see, something to go ahead and buy a little bit more time for Cort. I'd like to go ahead and do something called Infernal Healing.
Okay.
Give me like 10 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does Infernal Healing do? What does it look like? You anoint a wounded creature with the devil's blood or in holy water, giving it fast healing 1. This ability cannot repair damage caused by silver weapons or good-aligned weapons, or spells or effects with the good descriptor. The target detects as an evil creature for the duration of the spell and can sense the evil of the magic, though this has no long-term effect on the target's alignment. Casting time is 1 round, duration is 1 minute.
Yeah, I was hoping that there might be a way of channeling it through Alicast and making it last a little bit longer. I'm not necessarily looking to, say, restore him, but I'm hoping to ease his pain. Yeah, buy him time, ease his pain, make sure he doesn't, croak.
Okay. So as it stands, he's on borrowed time, and you are looking to find a way to do that. So give me, if you would please, give me a knowledge arcana.
Stay a while and listen.
Thanks for the follow, Space Acid. Appreciate that, bud.
Oh God, I'm gonna. I kind of want to re-roll that. I can do better than a 3.
You can. You can always plead to the audience to help you as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll that.
By the by, guys, that's significantly better. I would say that's the best, actually. If you guys wanted to have any kind of impact in the game, you can. Anytime you gift 5 gift subs to stream. New random people that pick up their sub can come back, and this will give a luck reroll to our players. Every time it's 5, they will get a luck reroll. Every time that we have 10 come through, in this case, so 5 more would give us 10 total, I will get a luck reroll that I can use at any time, including enforcing the players to also reroll a roll that I'm not happy with. So, you believe that there is an opportunity here, that this infernal healing can help. You're not sure how far it's going to go, how long it's going to last, but you believe that you can take this anointed blood, or if you would, this blood that you are letting into some sort of apparatus. It would need to be some sort of contained apparatus, and you would need to bleed a significant amount to maintain him for more than a minute. How much are you prepared to bleed?
It ain't that bad, trust me.
We'll go with a pint. But I'm assuming that Jenya has already put him on some form of intravenous fluid or something like that.
No, that wasn't really a large thing at the time. They didn't really have much like that. It's not like they were operating IVs well. She's applying.
Aldrin's getting respirators, guys.
Yeah. She's applying some holistic abilities. I don't want to say it's skills here, but she's definitely applying some trades that she's picked up in the field. And there are some things that she's utilizing to sort of ease the pain, but can you imagine the pain that someone would be in that is forced to be awake while their stomach has decayed out of their body? And the fact that he's not screaming out of his mind, speaking leaps and bounds about his character.
Yeah, so the only vessel I can think of, putting the blood in would be Cort.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's not like he would have the medical know-how to create some contraption like an IV or anything like that.
You could always ask as well. Like, just because you think you can do it, you got allies here that may have resources or items that you're just not aware of that could help you.
Right. Okay. No. Taking a moment to actually think and consider and look at Alicast just thoughtfully, he would turn to the others. I think I know a way to give Cort more time, but I don't necessarily know how to do it without being here constantly observing. I need something that will deliver this concoction, if you will, this potion. And it needs to be delivered over a timely manner. Do any of you have an idea?
No, like I said, I've tried healing him before, but it caused him extreme pain. I can try infusing him with celestial energy myself to see if that does anything, but I wouldn't be sure.
This is something a little different. This is more my side of things.
I don't like the sounds of that.
Is that in any statement, or is that Thelsa?
Thelsa would say that.
Okay.
I can stay with him if need be. I don't know Keegan Gelb enough to make a large contribution to whatever happens there. So if you can store it in some kind of vial, I could gradually drop small amounts into him. I know where the affected areas are, and at least a little bit about its anatomy.
Why don't we move him by cart first? Why don't we get him there and do this on the way?
I don't know if he would survive being moved and jostled through the streets.
I can
Jenya
just
nods.
take him there.
Jenya will simultaneously echo that sentiment. I don't think he's going to make it very far, even if you utilize magic.
Yeah, I don't trust transferring someone through time with magic would have zero effect, especially on someone who's on death's door.
Ulhime will try putting in another 100 health on him. I'll transfer 50 of my health into Cort just to see if I can get some form of healing or comfort for him.
Okay.
And while he does that, I'll turn to Jinya. Do you have a stoppered beaker?
She thinks for a moment. Yes, I think we might have something like that.
I would need a stoppered beaker, yay large. Preferably something with a perforation in the plug and a nozzle.
Her mind wanders for a moment, and she comes back with. It's not like a traditional beaker. This like they didn't have the proper tempered glass at the time for this sort of thing. They were working on it, but it hadn't quite made that sort of leaps and bounds. They have like what looks to be some sort of tin beaker or cup, clearly meant and multiple times been heated over. And she brings back what looks to be some sort of small finger-operated bellows with a hose that's attached to it. It looks like it's made of cat gut.
Effective.
I suppose it'll have to do.
I'm not going to lie. I've never used this before. This was something that I found that remained here from the previous owner.
Can Jakob actually go into the apothecary shop itself and actually look it over? Because I mean, I'm thinking what he would really need is basically a hollow needle, basically a large gauge hollow needle or something like that, a cork, and maybe a wineskin.
Sure. That's not unlikely for you to find. They did have proper bloodletting tools. I don't know if they were gauging their needles at the time, but I also don't care to look that far back in history to see if that's feasible.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically it would just be a hollow tube of, wood or something like that.
Sure, that's more likely.
Yeah, like a wooden straw. But yeah, with all that in hand, he is going to find a corner, set up the apparatus, and then he's going to basically gouge at his wrist to go ahead and start filling the wineskin.
Give me a heal.
A heal?
Yeah. You're practicing medicine. And rather barbarically, you're jamming a tube into your arm so you can get blood.
Oh, okay. Oh.
He's the world's worst Capri Sun.
I certainly am.
We have one reroll.
Yeah, he used it.
If you don't want to slit your wrist, but never mind, I take it back.
I love that you nat 20'd into a natural 1.
This isn't unusual for me. But no, I'm just trying to, bloodlet. It's not like I'm...
You fucking succeed. Oh my god, there is no doubt that there will be blood. I'm going to give you an opportunity to describe this. This is just as much your story, but you've got to realize that you rolled a 1 plus a 1. So, I don't know. You think about it for a second. What happens when you jam a tube that's probably enough to fit your finger through into your fucking arm trying to get blood out of your body?
I succeed.
What the fuck? Oh.
Oh, fuck.
Fucking violent.
Fuck.
Yeah, this is like, you're witnessing this. He pulls his arm out and he's got this tube and you're like, no, he wouldn't. He just sticks his arm.
Man, it should have come out the other side. That would have been so good.
Worse yet, I definitely hit the vein.
He's just like sitting there like, all right, I got this.
Hit the vein? You probably jammed it through your fucking elbow joint.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's actually between the two bones in his arm.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that I wasn't supposed to go that far. It's sticking out the other side.
I like to think he was getting it ready and then he tripped and fell on it.
The vein is in the tube. Yeah, yes, that's that's accurate.
Didn't actually split the vein somehow.
What
We
I
just
didn't
surrounded
what I
it.
didn't quite realize was, I had nothing to hold this with, so I've got this tube just sticking out of my wrist,
Yes.
and blood's jettisoning off, and I'm trying to catch it with this wineskin, and like
usual,
It's
you
like-
didn't think that far
Oh my
ahead.
Yeah,
finger,
he's just
pull
like-
my finger.
He's got a fucking a cup and he's trying to catch the blood as it's Now I want to know what you guys think here. What as you're witnessing this, he's like, I've got an idea, and it's very Jakob of my ideas.
Gurgle in pain.
I think
I don't like your ideas.
what does Rahk, what does Thelsa, and what does Ulhime think in this moment?
I'm not going to stop
I'm
him from
picturing
this
all
circus
three
act.
of them doing the exact same thing at the exact same time.
I don't know if this is part of whatever he's doing. Maybe this is part of the magic. I'm just kind of sitting back and in awe of what is actually going on right now, whether it's just stupidity or whether it's part of some ritual.
Whether
This
it's
is-
calculated or stupidity.
This is straight like Ace Ventura, like 2, right? Throw me the spear, and it hits.
So I was gonna say pretty much that's what I'm assuming that happens, or like in Talladega Nights where he's like I can't walk, watch this, and just like sticks his leg. He's like getting ready to like scream. Like that's what I picture
Yes.
Jakob doing. I don't know,
Um,
honestly. I don't know if I would see that in time though, because I'm still like transferring energy to him. I would just pretty much turn around to hear the yell, and then just like what the fuck happened, and then realize that Jakob is self-inflicting a wound onto himself with a giant ass needle.
It's more closer to like thin bamboo, my guy. It's not a needle by any
Yeah.
stretch of the means. This is like it's like watching the fucking Addams Family with the blood spouting. It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
I would.
You're like
The one
you're
I've seen
fucking
it, I would
standing over
probably,
the court like moo goo gua gua guide see chow, and then you hear rain behind you. Like we're indoors. What? Oh God! What are you doing?
I would.
Somebody quick, get it in the bag, get it in the bag.
Oh no.
I would probably turn once I heard him like yell at his I would say his mistake or his intentions, and I would try to help him keep the wound closed.
Do you just walk up and like the top of a straw? You're just like, bloom, you just put your finger
Yeah.
over the top of it.
I would just like hold it
Just
down to
plug
stop
it with
from
your
bleeding.
pinky.
No, it needs to go in the wineskin.
Yeah, I get that, but you didn't attach the tube to the top, so you've effectively strawed yourself.
I may have missed a step here.
He diverted the blood
Um,
flow.
Looking at
It's-
Ulhime, though, you would notice that his beard has gone completely gray. Well, effectively, all his hair has gone gray, and the top right part of his face is broken off again. So you just see the glowing gold orb inside of him. But yeah, he looks at you and is just kind of like holding onto the straw and is like waiting to get like the wineskin. And you see him like try to put it over, and I guess he'll put the wineskin over the top part of the hole and then try to hold it, and then I guess slowly lean it to the side to empty the blood.
Somewhere there's a vampire that's like, my dude, what are you? Let's hang out. Good lord.
Buddy.
Sure, give
He's
me a
like-
heal. Let's see a heal from you. I am anticipating this to be significantly better. It's not significantly better, but it's at least enough.
Yeah.
You attach
I mean,
the parts.
it's messy because like he's not really expecting someone to impale themselves with a needle, and then asking them to fill a water skin with it. So it's kind of like messy at the first time. Like he takes his thumb off and it gushes some blood out, and then he'll wait
And
for.
then
I
we
guess,
get the bag over it, and we're just kind of like holding it.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's trying to put in there, but I would probably give it like a good 3 to 5 seconds, and then
This is
take the needle out of his arm.
this is the time when I honestly miss Sun. Sun had practical medical knowledge, and he was
Yep.
scary efficient at it. He's like, "What? Your ass fell apart? I'll sew it back together. We got this. Wait, you tore your
Or
ball
did
bag
that.
open?
I know. Where's our
I got you,
field
bud.
medic, bro?
Actually, didn't that happen?
Yeah, Horan
All of
did
those
both
things
most part,
happened.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, both of those things happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously introducing a non-magical doctor into a world of demons and shit on like his third day of adventuring with the group does not do well for his mental health. So
Yeah, he was a
This
pussy.
shit I'm out.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. You it's basic, right? Like this feels like it should be basic, but admittedly, this is much harder than you thought. Threading the metaphorical needle in the situation and making sure that this functions, man, sometimes it's just it's easier for you to deal with a much larger threat.
yeah,
That and Jacob's an idiot.
I would probably pull one of the clean rags that's in the room that they were going to use for Cort, and then tie off his arm, and then bandage over the actual wound so it's not bleeding anymore.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. So once we have a significant amount, I would say probably, yeah, let's go ahead and say 16 fluid ounces. You know, a significant amount of blood in the bag.
Give me fortitude
go
save.
ahead.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 16 fluid ounces is a lot of fucking ounces.
Yeah, it's definitely going to leave him a little woozy.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately, Jenya doesn't have orange juice and cookies on the side.
yeah, but once he gets the needle out of his arm and he gets it wrapped up by Ulhime, he'll use a piece of wire to cinch close and twist tight the neck of the water skin.
Can anybody here cast Gentle Repose?
I don't think that's in my repertoire.
With 3 casters. Probably
Yeah,
closer,
right.
Probably closer to Ulhime than anything else.
Yeah, no, I have the ungentle repose as my abilities.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and you got to remember, I'm a Gish. Every spell I have is usually made to fuck things up.
Yeah.
Everyone knows all Gishers are best served cold.
I have it, but I don't have it learned for the day, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. Yeah. Things like that would be helpful here. Do you know what does anybody not know what Gentle Repose does?
Preserves a corpse.
It's been used on me.
It does. It preserves animated matter. It prevents it from aging quickly. So it can stop a corpse from its method of decay. Which there are certain locations inside of town that you know, or at least you're aware of in some capacity, and in most large towns where they have areas where there is permanency Gentle Repose. It's generally allowed for those that are the wealthiest, like nobles that are undergoing an extremely rare surgery, which even surgery back then was still pretty barbaric. That being said, that there are also coroners that have access to this in case they feel like they need to take time dutying up a body. But
You know, I'm going to set that up eventually inside the church, since we usually handle funerals.
yes, okay, all right, that's fair.
That's what I was looking for. But, well, that's not for now, though. I don't know the spell.
Yeah.
I just know of it.
Someplace where Jacob can hide the body until he can get a good alibi.
People look for kids, Jacob. People look for kids.
You don't kill adults. You kill the elderly, children, and dogs.
I fucking forgot about Lapook.
I can never forget about Lapook. I don't care about the kids. It's the dog that gets to me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm trying here. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I'm trying to save a child.
So there's a caterpillar on the side you turned over, and it just fell off a fucking cliff.
Okay. Okay, so
For all we know, I have fathered a child. There's a butterfly out there that's just got my name written all over it.
I also remember that day a little too vividly.
yeah, your child would be like, it would be like Heimlich from A Bug's Life, except with crab claws.
It also is probably already dead.
Likely, yeah.
What?
But butterfly lifespans are not that long.
No.
I think there's a Godzilla creature that that
Oh,
represents that. I think it's
Mothra.
Oh my God! Please say that I just fathered Mothra.
No. God, that would be terrible. Mothra doesn't kill people. Mothra saves people.
Moth crab.
No, not like
Never
this.
mind, it can't be Jacob's kid then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it saw where its father was going and decided to go in a different direction, where
Maybe.
Jacob saw where his father was going and went in the same direction.
We'll see.
Anyway.
It's working out. Either way, I want to know now what you intend to do with this bagged blood.
But yes, with that bagged blood, I'm going to try and channel through Alakask again. I'm actually going to attempt to channel the spell through Alakast into the bag of blood to hopefully give it just a little more potency.
What does it look like mechanically and narratively? How does one quote unquote channel unless you are like a cleric?
Just like somebody would go ahead and use a magic rod or wand.
It doesn't have an activation. It also simultaneously is pretty much showing you that it doesn't like you.
Well,
How did you
we're
do it last
somewhat
time?
at odds.
How did you do it last time?
I went ahead and used my arcane, I used my arcane well of energy that I keep within me,
Yeah.
and and channeled it into Alakastus the staff. And in doing so, I'm also chanting and directing the spell, using Alakast around the bag of blood.
All right. I'd like to know, just for the sake of those listening, also myself, because I've never really asked what your pool is like. Since I know that Maguses have something like a monk's key pool, how many points can you basically stow away in a day?
Let's see. My key pool is.
It can't be like 30. I know it's not that high.
No, it's significant though. Let's see.
I want to say it's like 12. 10 to 12. Because you're probably going to get 3 plus a basic attribute modifier plus like 1/3 your spell level. That's my guess.
I do know I had it written down here somewhere.
Okay. I can look this up shortly. But knowing that you haven't really blown any of your points today, that's totally fine.
Oh yeah.
You're going to channel some points into this. And I want to know narratively what this looks like.
So as I channel my own power through Alakast, the runes, I would imagine, would come to glow again. And the bag, the pouch itself would begin to pulse a dull red as the spell itself communicates with my own demon blood.
Okay.
At which point a short funnel of red steam would come from the needle and everything would cool back down, basically imbuing the blood with this unnatural healing power. At that point, he'll kind of lean on Alakast because, well, he just dumped a shitload more blood than he had actually intended, and kind of hand it off to Thelsa.
Okay. All right. So you've channeled these points. You are more or less goading the staff forward to the only means that you know how at this moment. And what are you doing? Refresh my memory here. What are you doing to the bagged blood?
Basically, I'm trying to go ahead and cast a spell into the blood itself. After all, infernal healing does require a drop of devil blood.
Okay,
And
all right.
It's pretty obvious, at least through my parentage. I got a little bit of devil in me. I'm
Okay.
not exactly holy, but yeah, he's basically trying to ramp up the
All right.
product of
Then
the
I'm gonna
spell
need
itself.
I'm gonna need from you a concentration check. If you want this to pull off, you can channel this, and
Stay a
I'll give you
while
some
and
increased
listen.
pacing on this, so we can increase the duration. But it's gonna take a pretty large concentration check, because it does state that there are no long-term effects. This is a short duration ability, and you are trying to buy a fair amount of time.
Right.
Also, you have 11 points. It's going to be whatever your int is, which I'm guessing your int is 20. Correct?
Oh yeah, my concentration check is D20 plus 23.
No, I'm talking about your intelligence. What is your intelligence?
My intelligence is 20.
Okay, all right, then that's a +5 to half of your level, rounded down. So you have 11 arcane pool points.
Ah, okay. And I think I've actually taken some feats to go ahead and get more. I've got it written down on
Okay.
one of my sheets.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it in a bit, but that's a good place to start. So let's see your constrict.
Jeez, rolling low tonight.
Yeah, that's not exceptional. You've got a big modifier. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do here. One. Give me a 33% range that you want.
33% range that I want. So let's say 25 to 53.
Okay. That's I don't think that's proper math. That
I think your
doesn't
math is a little off there.
Yeah, I think it's 25 to 58.
Yes.
Okay, 25 to 58. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, way off.
Yeah, not this shake through. All right. Your best guess is you hope that it works. You've left it to Thelsa. Thelsa has no idea what the hell you're doing.
Nope,
she
I just got a look of disgust on my face.
Yeah, you gave her a bloodied bag after you charmed your staff and touched it to the bag of blood. Which is some real out of context bullshit right there that we can unpack later. But, that's fine. For now, you pass this to Thelsa. What do you tell Thelsa to do here? What does this look like? Do you just say, like, spread it evenly? Like, what do you do?
Just leave a drop on his forehead every few minutes.
Forehead? Not even the area that's been affected? Doesn't matter.
You can certainly try. This is basically unholy magics. This is going to basically force his wounds to mend.
Gotcha. Okay, I can do that. I don't like it, but I can do it.
Well, I can't think of anything else that we can do to prolong his time on this world, but it's something. At this point, he'll turn to Rahk. I'm ready to go when you are.
Let us away then.
I want a fortitude check from Cort. Give me that thick 40. Let's see what you got. That's solid. That's solid. You, constrained, still under duress of pain. Your eyelids stretch open, and you can see the rest of them in the room. You've started to make out some of the tones of their voices. There is clarity in their voice. And you see that there is pretty much the rest of your allies, your group. They're more or less hovering around you. There's talks of magic, talks of looking for help. You see that Thelsa is holding some strange apparatus that looks like a wineskin, but you don't really know why. There is a lot to interpret here. Do you say anything? What does Cort say?
I think I'm just gonna try to stomach the pain for now, and figure that my teammates are arguably trying at the very least to make me better. And giving them the benefit of the doubt in that they will heal me. If it starts to seem too urgent, then I'm probably gonna start speaking. But at the moment, I'm gonna put my faith in them. I'm gonna kind of sit there, like, you know, when you go to the emergency room, you have the doctors all around you, and they're just speaking terms left and right to other like doctors or nurses, and you're just like, "Sure, dude, I got that." Just kind of sitting there listening to them, trying to like
I
figure
don't know how
out.
shared of an experience that is.
I know anytime that I have been in the ER and I hear doctors and or nurses talking around me or to my parents when I went, I looked at what the problem was. Do you look down at all? Do you glance down your chest?
Yeah, probably. I'd probably not gonna like lean over and like look, but I'm probably gonna at least look down.
Peering down your chest, just tilting your head enough, maybe lifting it. The others are too focused on the conversation at hand, and the cleanup that Jakob has sort of demanded here because of the blood spew. You peer down, and you see your bloated chest cavity that's still stitched shut. But just further down, as you go to about probably 4 or 5 inches above the navel and down onto your hip, you are cut open. And the flesh is red and puckered, and it's opened up. There is a feral stench. It's disgusting. You see that some of this material that seems to slowly be, I guess, tainting the skin. The color of it also seems to similarly match the rags that Jenya is carrying out of the room.
I'm gonna probably look away from the wound.
Sure. Can I get a perception from everyone else? Sure. Thelsa, Rahk, Ulhime, this catches your eyes. You, without a doubt, notice that he is coherent. Maybe not necessarily happy, but he's coherent.
I'm essentially gonna look back from the wound, look up, and just go.
You see him blow outward this extreme sigh, and his hair tosses upward. You see bits of spittle sort of rain down from this.
I'm gonna look over him and say, "So, how are you feeling?"
I would start patting his head with like a cold rag just to make sure he's okay.
Sure.
Gonna leave Thelsa's question unanswered, as it's
Just glare at me.
quite apparent how I am doing. Quite well, in fact. In fact, I have never been peachier.
I imagine you don't actually say that.
No, I do not. I will just sit back and let Ulhime dab my forehead as he is doing.
He doesn't say anything. He's sort of resting, maybe maintaining his energy. He
Focusing.
allows you to dab away at the forehead.
It's okay, lad. We're trying to work on a way to fix you. Just rest easy. We've got something figured out.
Cort, give me a sense motive.
He's lying. Planning to kill you.
It's not very godlike. Ooh.
Cort, when has anyone in your group ever had a plan? That is an echo that maintains as true in the entirety of your time in Shackled City, in Cauldron. And you realize that that's not true. Maybe he has an idea, but there is no plan. You don't even have to look up. You can see the face that everyone is wearing. It's kind of grim, but there is, as always, a mild hope that rests upon them.
I mean, looking back to the group, kind of reiterate, what are we gonna do? We can't just wait here, letting this thing drip.
I have to stay and hold it, but I don't even know where to start for help without having to sell your soul or a favor.
Well, you talked about this tinker. What kind of work can he do for Cort?
I just know he deals with magic and with clockwork items. Aside from that, I don't know much of him.
Well, we should start there then. It's better than nothing. Rahk, Jakob, we should probably go.
Agreed.
I happen to agree.
Sooner rather than later.
We'll make our leave now then. Let's go. And
Do I have functioning use of my arms? Or are
Sure,
they like...
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're sort of in like existing in a state of shock at this point. You've gone through intense pain. Your body is flying on endorphins that you didn't know you could produce.
Yeah. In this moment, as Ulhime turns around and essentially tries to do the football like break, I'm just gonna reach out and grab him by the back of his collar.
I wouldn't have turned away. I'm still like kind of patting your head, so if anything, it would probably be the arm that.
And I'd grab
You just feel it like glance up over shoulder, and he grabs onto
I'm grabbing
the vest or whatever you happen to be wearing.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, if he's pulling me down towards him, then I would kind of lean in to try to hear if he's trying to talk.
Please stay. Let them leave.
All right, lad. He kind of motions for Thelsa to hand over the wineskin. Go with them.
Offer the weird contraption that's been created. Gladly. This is a little bizarre for me.
He'll put the rag down and he'll hold on to the wineskin.
Okay.
And Thelsa would stand and immediately just start walking towards the door. Not going to converse anymore. I know where the building is.
Okay. Whom do you take with you? You take Rahk and Jakob as well? Or do you...
Yeah, whoever follows, I'll go alone if they don't follow me.
Okay. Thelsa seems to immediately move. She has a location in mind. Very pointed. She begins to walk. Does anybody follow?
Yes, Jacob would follow. And in seeing Thelsa stepping out, he'll kind of glance back. Why is Ulhime staying behind?
You're saying this to Thelsa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know, but I know to respect a dying man's wish. If he dies knowing that the one thing he asked for was for Ulhime and he just walked away, I'm not living with that.
Aw, you do have a heart.
It's
And
not what I read.
She turns back around and keeps walking.
I didn't read that at all. What I read was, well, if he dies, it's not on my shoulders.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if he dies, I don't have to worry about it.
Burdens off my
dies, she
shoulders and onto the
dies.
holy man.
Just,
Fuck
well,
yeah.
all right. Okay, sounds good. Then we find ourselves in this situation. You're walking out, he's asking questions, you just sort of shrug. You answer curtly, and he perceives it as one way, but it's almost very Thelsa that you don't respond. Just like, yeah, we'll let that land, just like that. It's almost easier to keep it a secret than spelling everything out, obviously.
Yep.
And you begin to walk. You find your way to the blackened, crenellated building. It's stood here since pretty much the inception of the town. It's a nice little spot. It's got a few windows and a hyper-locked door. Keegan Gelv is a very particular individual. What do you remember about Keegan? Give me the shakedown for everyone that is new to this. What is a Keegan Gelv?
A Keegan Gelv is a halfling with a familiar who is a half clockwork rat who is extremely intelligent, and he is a collector of oddities, but he mainly works as a locksmith and was working with the Last Laugh for a while.
And
Right.
happens to be fucking crazy.
Yeah, but
Want to talk?
He doesn't exactly have a, he doesn't have a full flow of bodies in his wake, as far as you can tell. But then again, he's also, at least as far as you can tell, not the same kind of person that would dirty his hands with that.
well, he sold us a boat once. Not Thelsa. This was way back.
Yes.
And that was one thing I won't forget. Pumpernickel stuck with me.
Yep. The bread boat of the dreams.
I'll always remember Harambot.
That too.
Goodness gracious. Okay, all right, sounds good. Then, you've made your way there. Do you just barge right in? Do you not?
Yeah.
What do you do?
If the door's open, I'm gonna open it because I know that it's an establishment of sorts. It's not a home. Well, okay. The main floor isn't particularly a home. It's more like a workshop.
Correct. It is
So-
a workshop.
I likely wouldn't, but if the door is locked, I wouldn't try and bust in. I would knock, but I know we don't. I don't want to try and spend more time waiting than we have to.
Sure enough. You turn the handle to enter, and it seems to be locked as suspected. You can see that there are multiple fasteners on the exterior, let alone whatever could be on the inside. He's very protective of himself, and for good reason. I mean, hell, his shop, for all intents and purposes, is a direct entrance to Jizzadrun.
True. I'm gonna just knock a few times and wait to see if there's a response.
Okay. You do just that. You knock, and after, I would say, 15 or so seconds, you see a small latch, probably about 2 inches by 2 inches, pan on the door. And as it opens, you see the eye of an older, you guess a halfling at this point, based off of what you've recalled. And he peers through, sees you, and his eye focuses on you for a minute.
Keegan Gelv, right?
Yes. Yes. And you are?
I am Thelsa. I work with Ulhime and the crew who inhabit the bathhouse.
Yes. Yeah, I am aware. Yes. Why are you here?
I have come to see if you have in your possession or know of something similar in restoration magic. One of our dear friends is on death's door and we need to figure something out.
Nope. Don't have anything like that. I deal in locks and clocks and some things that might be mechanical and walks. What do you need restorative magic for?
Well, his insides were made to dust by some sort of magical curse, which has been lifted.
Ah, curse. Of course, it's always a curse. That's unfortunate. I am sorry to hear of that. I hope that you are not too close.
Do you know of anybody who might be able to help me? Anyone who's got magical items on hand? I'm not interested in trying to deal with the Shining Tome, as I realize everything there comes at a greater price than what you pay in monetary worth, and Jenya is already aiding to operate, but she's just not strong enough with all of the things that are on her plate.
You see the little 2x2 cork stop slam back shut, and it almost appears to like flesh out the door, almost like it's a solid piece. And then another one opens, showing most of his face at this point. Elderly in his stature. He's up to about where your face is. You know that inside of his building there is a stand that he can actually roll forward to climb up to this area. Now he stares at your eyes. What do you know about the tome?
A fair amount. I don't know what you know about the tome.
Well, that's not what I rolled.
One DD.
Let's say that I happen to know something about a thing that could save your friend. Would you tell me a bit more about the tome?
If you tell me what you're willing...
He shuts it immediately, slams it shut. You hear multiple knobs start turning, and then you hear this metal thing start to slide back as the door just turns, and you're like, it opens. Come on.
I step in.
I'll follow along.
He doesn't actually realize that you're there, and he starts to shut the door on you when it hits you.